Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the third video in my treehouse build series. If you haven't seen them yet, you need to go back and watch part 1 and part 2, where I show you how to build this platform, the porch, and then started construction of the walls for this treehouse. Now that we finished building the walls in the garage, it was time to take them up to the actual platform and see if we could get them up there. Now, I thought I would have a lot of help. I thought like I did last time with the platform, but it turns out I was trying to do it by myself. I thought my wife or my kids would be able to come up and help, but they weren't. So I figured I would be able just to lift it up and kind of slide it on the edge just like I did with the flooring for the platform and just push it up there as best I could. I kept trying and I kept trying, and as you can see here, it wasn't very successful. I just wasn't tall enough to be able to do it myself and lift those up to the platform from the ground. So I decided to back my truck up all the way to underneath the platform. This way I could grab the walls that I'd built, I could put them up in the back of the truck easily, and then I could just get up in the back of the truck, and then from there I could lift them up onto the platform. Now I did this for all 4 of the walls that I had already built in the garage. I didn't know it, but the battery in my microphone had died when I was taking these videos, so all of the words I was saying you're not going to be able to hear, which is why I'm doing this voiceover. It's probably actually a good thing that the batteries died, because you'd be hearing a lot of me grunting and struggling and pushing, so consider yourself lucky. Now that all 4 of the walls were up on the platform, I could go ahead and move my truck and then get started on the rest of the construction. It was a lot of work, but I got the walls up here on the platform. Now it's just as simple as screwing them to the floor, screwing them together, and then we're going to work on the roof. So let's get these walls put together. I'm going to start with this wall first, and I'm just going to move around until they meet right here again. I'll just go counterclockwise, get them together, making sure they stay up. Yeah, so let's do it. So I've got this wall in the place where I need to be. So I'm just going to put some screws in, secure it to the floor, and then we'll start going around putting the rest up. All right, let's get this wall put where it needs to be. Screw in all these screws. All right, now I got these 2 put together here. Pretty strong. I'll come in later and attach them all along the walls, but right now I'm just going to get the corners together and hook them in. Before I went any further, getting that wall put all the way down, I wanted to make sure this one fit in the middle, so I wouldn't have to unscrew it and move it and get this one fit. All right. There we go. All right, I got this wall tied off. So now we know all the walls are where they need to be. I can tack them down and then start connecting the corners. Now I'm going to work on connecting the corners to make this nice and strong and secure. So my next step is to put the last two ceiling joists on top here. Once we get those screwed in, I can take off these temporary supports and everything should be nice and solid, and then we can move on. One more roof joist to go, and we're done with the framing. Couple more screws and we're done with the roof joists. All right, I got one more to put on. I've already got it marked. Hey, can you hand me my tape measure right there in the floor?
I don't see any tape.
Thank you. Got to make sure it has the right overhang here. There we go. Yep. Thank you. I got some helpers up here today. We'll see how much. We'll see how much they help. All right. Just got to do the other side. All right, got them all on. I decided before I put the metal roof on, I wanted to put the siding on the entire treehouse. I'm using these Cedar fence pickets. I got these from the home improvement store. They're really light. They're good because cedar naturally defends against deterioration and rotting. I needed about 55 of these or so. These are 6 feet long. They're about 5.5 inches wide. They came with these little dog-eared ends, which I don't like, so I'm going to have to cut every single one of these at least to get the dog ears off. But when I designed this, I made sure that the studs in the walls were spaced to where I could use almost a full board in a lot of the places where I need to limit the waste. So my first step is to get my plans out and start cutting all these to the sizes I need, and then we'll head back up and start attaching it to the outside of the walls. Measure twice, cut once, 33. All right, I've got all of my cedar fence pickets cut to the sizes I need. So it's time to go ahead and put them up. I've already put the first layer on down here, and it just works off the top of that all the way up to the top. We have 9 rows until we come to a window. So it'll be alternating the long board on this side, short board on this side, and then it'll switch. Long board on this side, short board on that side. I designed it to where the ends will always come on a stud to make it easier to attach to the walls. A lot of times on these lower ones, I like to go ahead and get a screw started. That way I don't have to try to bend over and start it there on the very end. I'm using 1 5/8 inch screws because these are only about 5/8 inch wide, and that leaves 1 inch of the screw into the studs of the walls. I've got the cedar panels done on the back wall, so my next step is to do the 2 walls here on the front, leaving the space for the door. It's a little bit windy today. The remnants of a hurricane came through this morning and got a little bit of wind left over. It's shaking a little bit up here, but it's still all right. Getting up there. All right, that wall's done. We're leaving a little bit of space between the top of the wall and the top of the ceiling, in the back and the front on the sides, just to make sure we get nice airflow through here, through the windows, through the top here. We don't want it to get nasty and damp and musty all the time in here. It's nice to get some air flowing through. All right, it's time to put the boards on this side. There we go. So there's the doorway. Got the 2 front walls done. Now the next step is to get the side walls done. Put the cedar on top of those. And then it'll be on to the roof and finish the porch. And then we got to figure out a way to get in here somehow. The first thing we need to do is put the first section of cedar picket on the bottom. It's supposed to overhang the 2x6 here by 1 inch. But I have a problem. I keep hitting this. When I designed it, I didn't really think about hitting these support beams. So the bottom of this needs to go down 1 inch below that. So I have to cut out some notches. So I need to mark it and then get a saw and cut it. So it can slide right over top of those beams on both sides here. And I know that I need to cut 1 inch notch out. That way it'll go down 1 inch. All right, there's 1 inch down. So I've cut them 1 inch in, inch down. I somehow need to get a cut here. This cedar is really light and not too strong. So what I can do is just take my pencil and just score a couple holes along this line on both of them. And then I can just pretty much just snap it off. So I take my pencil and just kind of poke a hole. You can use a drill bit, you can use a pen, you can use anything you got laying around. Usually it'll work. So I've scored a few holes there. So let's see if I can just snap it right off. Yep. Comes right off. Let's do it again over here. It's better to have too much cut out than not enough, because then it won't go down enough. See if it'll slide right over. Look at that. Yep, slide right over. And this should meet the top of that one. Look at that. Perfect. All right. Now all we have to do is start screwing these in and then bring the rest up till there's a window here, and then it'll be onto the ceiling, the roof. We got a couple more boards to go until I'm finished with the wall. We're leaving space for a window here, just like we did on the back side and the other side. Okay, that's it for all the cedar siding.